Hello everybody, and welcome to our short series of videos at Faraday Venture Partners, where we look into our portfolio, where we look into our investment approach and also other topics involved around venture capital. Today specifically we want to have a look at why venture capital should be a part of your portfolio when it comes to investment strategy. So today the value created by young innovative startup companies isn't really actually realized anymore after the IPO, but it's actually while the companies are still private during the venture capital process of getting funding. And this is exactly why we believe that venture capital is something that you should get into. And today we're also going to try and give you some more statistics and reasons for why this is important. The preferred financing for these startups is usually smart money and venture capital because it is easy for them to access and it actually helps them to grow as well. It helps them especially to grow not only because of the cash, but also because of the knowledge that investors and venture capitalists can bring to the table. And this is obviously something that we at Faraday try to do on a daily basis when we work together with our portfolio companies in Spain, in Germany, but also in Benelux. In a recent study by BCG that talks about the importance of venture capital in times like the ones that we're facing today, where we have negative rates, VC and private equity actually make an important lever on economic growth and help not only institutional investors to actually gain returns on their investments, but is also an important part of a personal and private investment portfolio. The reason for this is that actual venture capital investments into early stage companies have allowed us to realize returns of 6 to actually 27%, which is far above other asset classes that you might have in your portfolio, such as real estate or stocks. And this is true even in times of crisis, where markets can be volatile and stocks are actually dependent on the behavior of people buying or selling, depending on the feeling that they have. Usually startup companies and venture capital is detached from those market movements and are therefore less volatile and a long-term investment that makes sense to have inside of your portfolio. So according to Invest Europe, we're actually seeing that on a 10-year net IRR, the average performance of venture capital is currently at 22%. So if you have a look at what returns you're currently getting from other assets, and you put that into perspective, you can see why venture capital is actually an important part. So next to that, there's more than just a financial reason as well why this is important to you. And that's maybe a little bit of a more philanthropic reason to invest into startup companies, because what they are is the driver of our economy. And they're the driver of our economy because next to financial growth, they also have an impact on employment and they have an impact on technology innovation. To give you a fact from that same BCG study I was mentioning before, actually startups with venture capital have created 32.5% more employment than companies that do not have venture capital investments. Nonetheless, I also want to highlight, and I think this is very important, that venture capital is a very high-risk asset class, and therefore nobody should really invest more than 5 to 10% of their actual capital that can be allocated into their investment portfolio. And this is also shown by big institutional investors who actually don't allocate more than that either. So when you decide to invest, always be sure that you also have some less riskier alternatives in your portfolio, such as, for example, real estate and maybe some stocks, which do go on the riskier side, but obviously not as much as venture capital. So at Faraday, what we try to do is help you get access to this type of asset class. And currently we're doing this with more than 275 people who already trust in our services, who invest together with us, either on a deal-by-deal basis or actually into our early stage startup fund, which we are currently raising and still looking for LPs to join us. So if that is something that interests you, we are more than happy to talk to you about that in more detail. So like this, being one of our partners, you actually get reach and deal flow from all across Europe, which is something that we would love to share with you. So please don't hesitate to get in touch, and we look forward to hearing from you.